Very good morning to dear students. Greetings of the day. So, today we are going to start the module 1 of our environmental microbiology paper, that is the brief account of ecosystem and energy flow in the ecosystem. So, in the last class we have gone through the overview of our syllabus and the learning outcome what we have expected once you complete this course. Now, today onwards we are going to discuss the major concept that is described in your syllabus. So, module number 1, brief account of ecosystem along with the energy flow in the ecosystem we are going to discuss. So, as an introduction, as you all know, what do you mean by an ecosystem? Ecosystem, it is a community of living organisms in combination or in conjunction with the non-living or abiotic component with their environment and interacting as a whole system. And here you can see in this particular figure so many systems are there. The hydrosphere is there, the lithosphere somewhere you can see, and the atmosphere. So many organisms, they are interacted each other and they are cooperated each other and they are living in a closed niche of a community. So that is known as ecosystem. And this word ecosystem was coined in the year 1935 by a great English ecologist called Arthur Tansley. Arthur Tansley. His photograph you can see here. And in the case of ecosystem, the most important component are known as ecotop. What do you mean by ecotop? Ecotop is nothing but the very smallest ecological distinct niche or landscape features are known as ecotype. So this is very important. And in addition to Arthur Tansley, another scientist called Vladimir Vernadsky, he contributed a lot to the ecosystem and he was regarded as the founder of geochemistry and biogeochemistry and radiogeology. And he has contributed a lot of things. He has studied the relationship between the organisms in the ecosystem and their relevance in this ecosystem and how the energy flow is happening into the ecosystem. So these living or biotic and non-living or abiotic components are linked together through the nutrient cycles, and that will be leads to the energy flow in the ecosystem. Then, what are the major categories of ecosystem? The ecosystem that is classified into 3 different groups. As you can see in the figure over here, one is the freshwater ecosystem. Approximately 1.8% of earth surface that constitute this freshwater ecosystem. That includes the lakes, river, stream, springs, and that has various animal, plants, fungi, the protist and the prokaryotic organism. Then the second one that constitute 75% of earth surface, that is the major and abundant ecosystem in the world, that is the marine ecosystem. Here you can see the figure over here, a deep shallow ocean and deep ocean water and deep ocean bottom. Inside an ocean, inside the bottom of an ocean, you can see the wide varieties of communities of organisms. They are interrelated together in this figure. And the third one is the remaining part of the ecosystem is the terrestrial ecosystem. The terrestrial ecosystem that constitute the remaining approximately somewhere around 22 to 23% of the total Earth ecosystem. And the terrestrial ecosystem, one of the most important fundamental concept is biome. What do you mean by biome? Biomes are large scale community of organisms particularly defined on land, primarily defined on the land by dominant plant type that exists in geographical region of the planet with similar climatic condition. That is known as biome. So, the major type of terrestrial ecosystem, the major biomic terrestrial ecosystems are the tropical rainforest, a special type of ecosystem that is very very important, that is a combination of grass and the trees are separated in a very particular distance, a beautiful landscaping ecosystem called savannas, then desert, you know that, then the grassland, then the temperate forest and tundras. Tundras are the ecosystem that has the very many plants and that has the plants has lived in a very very low conditions and they are having a very specific type of a climatic condition over there. So these are the major categories of ecosystem: freshwater, marine ecosystem and terrestrial ecosystem. Then the main topic of this particular main session is the energy flow. How the energy flow is happening when the organism interact each other for their primary nutritional requirement. How the energy flow is happening. Energy flow is otherwise known as the calorific flow, and the calorific flow may be defined as this is the flow of energy through a food chain and the focus of study the ecological energetic. The fundamental concept of ecological energetic can be studied based on this energy flow. Here the chemical energy of the food product is the main source of energy, as you all know, that required for all the organism, and this energy is transmitted through the different tropical and subtropical level through the food chain and food web. And there are this energy workflow is mainly based on, as you all know, the thermodynamic aspect. The two important the laws of thermodynamics, you know that, the first law that and the second law. The first law state that energy neither be created nor destroyed and it can convert from one form to another. And the second law of thermodynamics revealed that the energy is transferred more and more and it is however wasted tremendously from one tropical level, from the bottom level to the top level. When the organism depend themselves for the food materials and the nutritional requirement, the energy flow will be happening from the top, from the bottom level to the top level. And the primary producers, as you all know, the solar energy, the plants are the primary producers. Then the primary consumers are there, and the primary consumer gives the food for secondary consumer, the small carnivorous, and finally the tertiary consumer, the larger carnivorous. Then from the bottom to the top, when the energy varies, when it is moving, the energy is getting lost. Energy, tremendous amount of energy is getting lost, and a lot of percentage of energy is getting lost in the form of heat energy, and the topmost level of the organism, they get a very little amount of energy than the initial energy producer. So that we will discuss more in detail in the subsequent slide. Then before we going to discuss the details about the the energetics, especially the energy flow, one important concept you should know that is food chain. In your PUC you might have studied what do you mean by food chain and what do you mean by food web. This is very interesting. Okay, so this is the a set of organisms that pass energy from one tropical level to the next tropical level, and that particular network is known as a food chain. And here this term is coined by an Arabian scientist called Al-Jahiz, and he studied about the food chain in detail. And the food chain is a linear network or link of several food items that in turn produces the food web. Okay, and this shows how the organisms are related with one another by the food what they used to consume. Each level of the food chain represent different trophic level. Here you can see a small, the sunlight, that is the sunlight is the primary source of energy that is absorbed by the green grasses, and they synthesize they synthesize their own food material by using photosynthesis, and that grass is grown and using all the nutritional requirement, and that is consumed by the primary consumer, a grasshopper. A grasshopper is getting the energy from this grass, and this grasshopper will be consumed by the secondary consumer. The frog consumed the grasshopper, and later the frog that leads to the food for the snake. That is the way the food chain goes. Here also a beautiful example. You can the same way here you can see the grass, and that feed the caterpillar, and from the caterpillar again frog, that is secondary consumer, then snake, then later the owl, that is the final consumer. Okay, so again the final decomposers are also going to play a very vital role. So this a very series of interconnected systematic flow of energy and nutrient from one level to the next level is known as the food chain. Then what are the types of food chain? So the types of food chains are, one is known as grazing food chain or GFC, second one is saprophytic or detritus food chain or DFC, then third one is parasitic food chain or PFC. What is DFC? This is the normal food chain that we observe in the plant, that are producers, and the energy directly flows from the producers to the consumer. That means to say the primary consumer, and then later it to go to the carnivorous, and they consume, and the cycle the chain goes further. Okay, but in the case of saprophytic or detritus food chain, they are involved. After this step, the dead organic materials, okay, after the final consumer reaches, after their lifespan, they'll die, and the dead organic material occupies in the lower most level of the food chain. Okay, and that followed by the decomposers. Once the organism dies, that the energy, the nutrients again will be dissolved to the nature once again by the decomposers. That is very important. Decomposers are most probably microorganisms. That is what I yesterday told, the relevance and role of microorganism in the environmental microbiology. The third one is parasitic food chain. Here the large organisms, either the producers or consumers, that they exploit, and therefore they passes their food to the smaller organism. Okay, they exploit the food material and they pass the food material to the organism. This I have already explained the food chain. That is a beautiful app I have got it from the Byju's site. The organism grasshopper eat the plant, and the mice eat the grasshopper, and the snake eat the mice, and the eagle eat the snake, and later when the horse dies, the fungi and this eagle may eat the snake, and snake will be served as a food for this hawk. And this, once the house dies, the fungi and similar organism actinomyces, they break the complex polysaccharides and protein that is present in the body of this organism, and that reaches to the environment in the form of a nutrient. And these nutrients, along with the sun and the water, and that regenerate the primary producers such as the green plants and the vegetation, especially the grass. That's a beautiful cycle of a food chain. Then the next one is food web. So many food chains are connected by interconnectedly. They are highly interrelated. That is known as a food web. Food web is a natural interconnecting link of the food chains, and which are the graphical representation of what eat and what an ecological community. Okay, this is usually a graphical representation to represent the food chain. Okay, as like you can see here, over here there are so many network. Okay, corn to grasshopper, grasshopper to frog, frog to python. Okay, and python to eagle. Then similarly lot of, you can see, interconnected, the butterfly, the dragonfly, then this organism, then okay, so like that you can see all organisms are interconnected. And food web is a linear chain, but the food chain is a linear chain, but food web is an interconnected chain that consisting of several type of food chain. And this is a consumer resources system. It consumes, all organism consumes from the food chain, and this is the actual food cycle. The food web is known as actual food cycle. And the concept of food web, I told you the energetics. So that is proposed by the great scientist called Charles Elton. Okay, the great scientist called Charles Elton. He is the pioneer of the concept of food web. Okay, then I have spoken about the food chain and food web and how it is transported from various tropical level. What are the major organisms? They reside in each and every tropical level in order to transfer the food in the form of the energy. How the energy flow is happening through the ecosystem. And the producers, there are so many tropical levels. The fundamental tropical levels are known as the producer or the plants. Okay, in terms of microorganism, they are microalgae or algae. They represent the first tropical level. Okay, and this producer and the consumer in the ecosystem, they arranged several feeding groups which are known as the tropical level. Okay, and this producer, after the producer, there's the first tropical level. The producer acts as the food for the consumer, the herbivorous. Okay, so the primary consumers, those organisms consume the producers, are known as primary consumer. They act as the second tropical level. Then those organisms consume the primary consumer are known as secondary consumers. Okay, they are the primary carnivorous. Okay, they consume the herbivorous organism. They represent the third tropical level. Then the last one, the tropical level, is the tertiary consumer. That means to say those organisms, they consume the secondary consumer. They are the top carnivorous, so they consume the high level of the consumers. Okay, that is, they represent in the third level or the last level. Finally, all this consumer once again recycled through the ecosystem once their lifespan, once their death to the decomposers such as microorganism. And here you can see this is the energy pyramid. Okay, here the ground region you can see the producer, here the green grass. Okay, the primary consumer here is herbivore. Here you can see a mice. Okay, and that mice feed grass actually, and there is a second tropical level. The grass acts as the first tropical level, and here you can see the carnivorous, and you can see the third tropical level, that is snake. Okay, there the carnivorous, and the second consumer. Then the later it goes to the tertiary consumer, that is a high carnivore, that is a hawk. Finally, the fourth tropical level. Once the hawk dies, the energy reaches the bottom level by the, and again the cycle continues. So that is why this beautiful pyramid like structure. Okay, so we will discuss, that is known as ecological pyramid. From this particular tropical level, the energy will be very, very high. The loss of energy will be very, very high. And when it is transferring from the bottom to the top, the energy, the conversion of energy decreases. The amount of energy the primary consumer get is decreases, and then it is still it decreases when it is consuming the secondary carnivorous. Finally, very less percentage of the main energy will be received by the tertiary consumer. So this is the way the energy flowing through the ecosystem. Beautiful concept. This diagram clearly illustrates the entire energy flow. Then here again, how you can correlate this energy flow in the in a various tropical level in the food web. Okay, the previous slide what I have shown is a food chain. Okay, and how this will work in the food web. Here you can see the plant, flower, nuts, seeds, etc. all are the photosynthetic organisms. They produce the primary producers. Okay, primary producers. And this, I mean, deer. Then similarly, you are having so many, the frog, and okay, and you are having the pika. So many organisms, they act as the primary consumer. They directly depend on this organism for their food. Okay, and now you can see the heterogeneity here. They act as the food for so many organisms. You can see the arrow mark that clearly says when it is going to the secondary consumer level. Okay, so high level, so many organisms you can see here. They have they consume the primary consumers. Then you can see the secondary consumer. They will be act as the food for the tertiary consumers. Okay, the high end organism, the last level organism. Once their lifespan and once their death is happened, this organism will be decomposed, and that will be reached once again by the decomposers in the bottom level. So this is what the energy is circulating throughout the ecosystem. That is what is the thermodynamics says, that the energy will be transferred from one phase to another. The energy cannot be created nor be destroyed, and it can be transferred from one form to another. A beautiful concept in the thermodynamics. So this is the tropical level in the form of a food web. Then, as I said, a beautiful concept, another interesting concept, how that energy paradigm, the shifting of the energy from the lower level to the higher level, that is represented in the form of a pyramid-like structure, that is known as a ecological pyramid, that is otherwise known as tropic pyramid or tropical pyramid, and Eltonian pyramid, and that is developed by, that is proposed by the great scientist I have already told, Charles Elton. Okay, and energy pyramid and food pyramid. All those are the other words of ecological pyramid. And what is this? Ecological pyramids are the tropic structures of an ecosystem that can be indicated by means of an ecological pyramid. Okay, and this is proposed, the pioneer of ecological pyramid is Charles Elton. And the food chain is a considerable function, and that has lot of role to play from lower tropical level to the higher tropical level. and the most amazing things from when it is going to, you can see bottom level it is so wide, and when it is going to the topper level it is become thin, finally it becomes so sharp, finally it become pinpointed at the top. So the pinpointed at the top, that means to say there is a potential energy loss over here. Okay, all the primary producers are they are the photosynthetic organism. Okay, with the help of sunlight they directly produces the energy, and those organisms consume this particular plants and vegetation. They are the primary consumers. When they consume also, they will not get the all the energy whatever this producers are produced. They will be getting a less percentage of the energy, but there is a loss of heat energy, again lost in the form of heat. As I said, those organisms consumes the secondary consumer, again the energy will be lost in the form of heat, but they also will not get the energy what the primary consumers got. Then the tertiary consumer, those who are consuming the secondary consumer, also losing their energy in the form of heat, and you can see they get the least amount of energy in the ecosystem. So this is a beautiful pyramid like skeleton, and that represent the tropical level of the energy flow. So that is known as ecological pyramid. And this ecological pyramid, it has got three types. One is the pyramid of number, that means the number of organisms that is involved in a particular pyramid structure, that is known as pyramid of number. Second one is pyramid of biomass. Okay, the biomass or weight of the living organism. So how many weight of the organism, how much amount of biomass they are going to utilize each organism, and how much amount of energy with respect to the consumed biomass is produced by each and every organism. The biomass that is consumed with the amount of energy that is being produced over here. Then finally the pyramid of energy. This is the energy landscape. You can see the bottom, their energy will be very high, and the next level energy, that is a loss of energy. It is energy decreases, then again energy is lowered, finally the peak energy is maximum, it will be lowered. So these fellows will be getting the least amount of energy. All the tropical level there will be having the loss of energy. That is another important concept. Then how this energy flow is happening in the case of primary producers. Primary producers, as you all know, they are plant, they are autotrophs. Autotrophs are known as, you know that autotrophs are the organism, they uses carbon dioxide as their source of carbon. Okay, phototrophs, they require the light as the energy source as well. Okay, and most of them they absorb the stored energy and the stored energy in the plant to the digestion, and what will happen, they transform this particular energy in the form of adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. Okay, adenosine triphosphate, ATP, act as a high energy compound. I think you remember we have studied in molecular biology when we had discussed the structure of the DNA, ATP. Okay, the high energy phosphate component. Okay, adenosine triphosphate through respiration. Then what will happen, a part of the energy received by the primary consumers such as herbivores, they convert their body heat, they liberate body heat with the help of this respiration, and that radiate away and lost to the ecosystem and lost to the atmosphere. Then the lost energy through the body heat is far greater in warm-blooded animal than the cold-blooded animal. Okay, in the case of warm-blooded animal, this heat transfer is very rapid and greater in comparison with the cold-blooded animal. Okay, then the energy loss also occur in the expulsion of undigested food. Not only the consumed food, undigested food also the energy will be lost by using the process excretion or other process. Okay, so that is the energy flow in the case of primary producers. Okay, then the next case, the energy flow in the case of secondary and tertiary consumers. So the secondary consumers, as you know, they consume primary producers for their growth, such as carnivorous. Then what will happen? They consume primary consumers, then they produces the energy, and that primary producer, they give the energy for their growth, and that energy will be stored in the secondary consumers, later absorbed into the body of the secondary consumer through the process of digestion. You know that the digestion, later the secondary consumers convert that energy into more suitable form, that is the form of ATP, and they store, and they that again they will be when they are performing the function, that ATP will be lost, and some energy also will be lost, I told you, in the form of respiration, and the regulation of body temperature cannot be utilized by the secondary consumers. Okay, they cannot regulate their body temperature. Okay, so that is the thing. But in the case of tertiary consumers, they obviously they consume secondary consumers, and what will happen? They may or may not act as the predator, and they consume the secondary consumer, and with some energy they will store, and some energy they will be losing. Okay, and they will be the lower level of the food chain, and they will be getting the least amount of energy. Okay, so because from the lower tropical level to the higher tropical level, the energy is getting transferred along with the nutrients. Then what about the decomposers? So as I said, so this is very interesting, the activity of decomposers. So I told you this, primary producers, they produces food that contributed to the primary consumers. Primary consumer act as the food for secondary consumers. Secondary consumers act as the food for tertiary consumers. You can see the energy transfer from here to the tropical level. Finally, once this tertiary consumers, they complete their lifespan, once they die, and they are become the decay, they are released to the soil, and what will happen? The decaying organisms such as the bacteria and fungi, okay, and actinomyces are playing a very vital role. And what they will do? And they will be they will be producing this energy once again that reaches to the bottom level. That is what I told. Energy can be neither be created nor be destroyed. Okay, one form to another form, it is returning to the atmosphere once again. Okay, so that is the role of these decomposers. They are the final link, and the decomposers which break down the complex, the protein. They produces typical proteinaceous enzyme. They break the proteinaceous material into peptides, and peptides into very small amino acids. And the plant material, they are rich in carbohydrate. The organism produces the carbohydrate mainly, you know, that starch consisting of amylose and amylopectin. The organism produces amylase enzyme and similar type of hydrolytic enzymes, and they will be cleaving all those proteins and carbohydrates, and they released into the nutrients. Okay, released into the nutrients in the form of basic amino acids and in the form of glucose, and they break down the plants, herbivorous, carnivorous, that I have already told you, that were not eaten by the organism or higher, they are in the higher order in the food chain. And similarly, certain undigested food material also they will be broken, and that will be energy will be contributed. Finally, I told the decomposers, they are on a saprophytic organism, and they are fungi, and these decomposers plays a profound role in the biogeochemical cycling. We will discuss the biogeochemical cycling in detail. Okay, the movement and transfer of all the nutrients to the hydrosphere, lithosphere and atmosphere, and that beautiful circulation of nutrients across the soil system, the total environment, is known as a biogeochemical cycle. So that decomposers will be playing a very vital role. That is the importance of microorganism. Microorganism, they are the decomposers. They are the main organism. They return the energy and the nutrients to the lower tropical level once again. And the transfer of energy, I told you how much amount of energy each tropical level is going to be consumed. The energy passed to the tropical level, so initially 90% of energy will be lost. Okay, initial level 90% of energy will be lost, and some being lost as the heat in the environment through respiration of the organisms, and some being lost as the undigested or incomplete digested food. So I told you a primary consumer get only 10% of the energy produced by the autotrophs. Okay, so the autotrophs produces 100% of the food. So what we have been discussing, so the energy transfer, the primary consumers get approximately 10% of energy what they have obtained from autotrophs, and 90% of energy will be waste in the beginning itself, and only 10% of energy will be received by the primary consumers, and then later when it goes to the secondary consumers, they get 1/10% of the energy, that is 1% of energy the secondary consumers get, and tertiary consumers get only 0.1% energy. So that is what the big energy loss what we can see over here. So the top consumers of a food chain receive the last energy as much of the food chain, and energy has been lost between the tropical level. So energy in the beginning there will be having high amount of energy, but in the last stage they will be having only 0.1% of energy. More clearly in here 90% of energy will be lost. Then this particular primary consumers will be getting only 10% of energy out of this. Then the secondary consumers will be getting 10% of the 0.1% of the 1% of the total energy, and the last regions, this people will be getting, these fellows will be getting 0.1% of total amount of energy. So that is the energy transfer measure. And the loss of energy at each tropical level limit the food chain to only 4 to 6 links. Okay, so that is the another important thing. So when you are talking about the energy transfer, two important things you need to talk. One is the gross primary productivity. That means to say the rate at which the photosynthetic producers incorporate energy from the sunlight. So the rate at which the photosynthetic producers, the primary producers that incorporate energy from the photosynthetic process, that is known as gross primary productivity. Net primary productivity is the second major aspect of energy transfer that deals with the energy that remains in the producers after accounting for this organism metabolism and heat loss. Okay, the energy that remains in the producers after this organism undergoes metabolism and the loss of heat. So that is the energy transfer. So one of the most another important concept when we talk about this particular energy transfer, that is from one tropical level to another tropical level, how it is transferring, you should study another concept called biomagnification. So this is an important consequences of ecosystem due to the imbalance of pollutant that is accumulated in the lower tropical ecosystem. So you know that we have told about the primary productivity, Then imagine if the primary producers are incorporated with a lot of toxins, especially pesticides, herbicides, all those residues, if it is present in the primary producers such as vegetation plants, that without the change from one tropical level to the next tropical level, it will transfer. How it will transfer? The amount will be magnified, okay, and that particular process is known as a biomagnification. So biomagnification is nothing but the increased concentration of persistent toxic substances in the organism. When it is present in the lower level, the energy, when it is transferred to the subsequent level, this pollutant level also will be transferred to that level, and it will be accumulated to the higher level into the most persistent way. So that is an very interesting phenomenon. You know that when it is the energy matter is concerned, the lower level it has high amount of energy but low toxicity. But when it is going to the primary producers, secondary producers, tertiary producers, etc., the energy level will be reduced, but the toxicity will be increased. That is the important aspect. The toxicity will be increased. So, for example, well-studied example, the biomagnification of dichloro-diphenate trichloroethane, that is DDT, that is commonly present in the contaminated water. In the case of DDT, that is this much very less concentration. We are talking about parts per billion concentration. The unit is parts per billion. You can see that 0.000003, very minute concentration. But when it is reached to the organism, they are residing into the that is surviving in the water, that is zooplankton, we will discuss in aquatic microbiology. Then you see there is a high level of increase, 1000 times that got increased. It become almost 0.4 ppm. Then the zooplankton, that is reached into the small fishes. Small fishes will be consumed the zooplankton. So the amount again will be, amount of toxicity again is increased 10,000 fold actually. Now it will become 0.5 ppm. Then you see like that the this small fish will be the food for the large fishes. Then 0.5 become 2 ppm DDT concentration accumulation the body of this fish. Then the fish eating birds of prey, then how much it is increasing actually? 25 ppm. So this drastic increase in the from lower level to the higher level, the toxicity of the persistent pollutant in the ecosystem, that will create a problem. That is why we are telling. So that is always good that when you are cultivating the vegetation, try to avoid the pesticides. Okay, so that is why organic farming, it is very important actually. So that is why, especially when people are in lockdown, the authorities, the government, they have encouraged the people to cultivate the vegetation. Okay, the vegetation actually, the kitchen gardens and the lower and all the lower part of the kitchens and the upper part of the kitchen, you will be having, you can convert that thing into a very smaller vegetable farm actually. So then you will be getting, without applying the fertilizers or herbicides or pesticides, which will not be, you will be getting a pure, there will not be having any biomagnification. So from that is what I told, this drastic impact is known as a biomagnification. From the water, primary producers, water it is 1, say for example 1 ppm. When it go to primary producers, it is 1000 ppm, 1000 times magnifies. Then it is secondary, producers, when it is secondary consumers, that is 10,000 times it is magnified. Then the next level, it is magnified 1 lakh times. Then you can see the larger level, it is 10 lakh times. Okay, then you can see this particular level, I don't know what is this number. Okay, a huge number actually. Okay, nearly 1 crore or 10 lakh number you can see. So the magnification of DDT, so from the lower level to the higher level, and this aspect is the biomagnification. This is the detrimental impact, how this pollutant are transferring to the food chain and food from the lower tropical level to the higher tropical level, and that leads to the toxicity, contributing the toxicity to the higher level organism. So that is the absorption in the case of high level organism, that is very, very high. So this is the detrimental impact. So this is all about this ecosystem. So we are going to conclude. So today we have discussed the basics models of ecosystem and what are the different types. We have discussed about the freshwater ecosystem, marine water ecosystem, and you will be having the terrestrial ecosystem. Then we have discussed the salient features of food chain and food web. Okay. Then what are the major tropical level? What are producers, primary producers? What are consumers? Okay. Primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, from higher level, lower level to the higher level, how the energy is spreading. Then you can see the decomposers. The decomposers are very, very important thing. They are decaying. They are decaying the dead material, and again they are releasing to the nutrient, the same nutrients and ATP to the soil and the primary producers. Then energy flow. Okay, energy flow, we have discussed the aspects throughout the tropical level, how the energy is getting flowed. Okay, then the ecological pyramid. Okay, so what are the important concept? Okay, pyramid of mass, pyramid of number. Okay, all those concepts we have discussed. And the energy transfer to the tropical system. Okay, energy transfer, how the energy is getting through the tropical system, how a producer is transferring the energy, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and finally decomposers transferring the energy. Then finally the consequences of this the ecosystem. Okay, the energy transfer, that is biomagnification. So these are the major important concept whatever we have discussed in this particular topic. So with this we have completed the first topic of this particular unit number or module number 1 of environmental microbiology. Then these are the textbook in which I have taken various content for this particular things in addition to the recently published reputed research papers, and all these papers they have mentioned in your syllabus, and if that is present in our library you can get, or you will be able to get that the soft copy also. Okay, the e-content of this particular book, and I will be also sharing couple of very good books, so that you will be able to you can utilize. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell you. So once again thank you very much, and as I said, go through this all the content once again, write the notes properly. Okay, properly you write the lecture notes, that definitely it will help you. And if you are having any clarification, you can text in the group, or you can text in the video, that in the YouTube itself below the comment box. You can text, or you can directly send message, or you can call me. Okay, so that is all about today's class. So have a great time, be safe. Okay, take care, have a great time, bye.